my most popular videos is how to move to another state. So I thought it would be fun to put together some of my tips for moving to another state. I've had a number of times where I've had people ask me questions or email me questions about moving to another state and how to go about it. And a lot of times it would be too much to write. Sometimes I'd write things, but I couldn't go into detail the way I wanted to without it taking me a long time. So I would give a summarized answer, but I thought it would be fun to put together a video. One of the things that helped me with moving to another state was be determined and open-minded. For example, when I moved to California for the second time, I didn't have much money because I had changed careers. I studied finance in school, and I had just enough money saved to get back to California and to survive for 1 month. Mind you, at the time I had a car note and insurance that I had to pay for, so I had just enough to do that and eat a little bit and get gas to get to work. So I gave myself a goal of finding a job within a month of moving back. I couch surfed. I actually didn't even have a place to stay, so I don't know if you consider that homeless, but I didn't have a place to stay. I just crashed with friends here and there. See all the reasons that it will work well for you. Because if you're thinking about what's not going to work or what might go wrong if you make the move, then I think it'll scare you even more about making it happen. Because I know the very first time I moved, which was right after college, I was thinking of a bunch of reasons why it might not work out and why maybe I should stay home. And one of the main things is feeling like, oh, you know, I don't know anyone, I'm going to be lonely. Time is very important when considering a creative job. You need flexibility. At least I needed a lot of flexibility to be able to, say, for example, assist a photographer on a photo shoot. You just never know which day you might be needed or to pursue your work. I also did a lot of work at night when I did end up working at a photo lab that was a little more of a structured schedule, but I was at the type of job that allowed me to develop film. At the time I was shooting film, so I could develop my film in time. I was surrounded by other photographers and their work. So that type of job, 9 to 5, worked for me because I was being exposed to exactly what I was interested in. So that was helping me a lot, as opposed to being in my finance 9 to 5 where I didn't get much or any exposure at times. So I say be open-minded, but be determined to make it work. Think of all the reasons why it could work and not reasons why it may not work, because you know, things can happen and it may not work out, but just know you can always go home. Another tip is location. Wherever you decide to move, whether it's California or New York or Texas or somewhere in the Midwest or anywhere in between, consider, you know, the public transportation, the weather, and things like that. For example, moving to California, they have beautiful weather, so it was easy for me to just walk somewhere if I needed. And it's definitely not a walking place, but they had a pretty decent bus system, so I was able to catch the bus at one point during one of my moves until I got a car. So that's another thing you may want to keep in mind is public trans. If you have to catch the bus or walk, do that as well. I know when I moved to California for the first time and I didn't have a car and I needed to save up for one, I had to wait 3 months before I could get that car, because I also had to get an apartment at the time, because again, I was rooming with a number of friends. I crashed on their couch for 2 months, 3 months. I paid a share of the rent and utilities and everything else, but it wasn't so much that I couldn't afford to save for a car, which helped me a lot. So I mean, you won't be super comfortable sometimes, and that's okay. Also, the library is still a great resource. I think I didn't have funds for computers, so I believe at the time you could use computers for an hour or a couple hours with your ID, with a membership, and I would send off resumes that way, or I would just research different photographers that maybe I wanted to assist, you know, things of that nature. So it was very helpful to use the library. That's an option, and it's free. Free 99. Free is good. When making a move, consider the time of year that you're making a move. For example, if you're moving at the end of the year, which is headed toward, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc., most companies don't have their budgets in place, their yearly budgets in place for the following year, or they may be working on it. So if they don't have their numbers in place, then they're less apt to do a big amount of hiring, unless there's someone who left inexplicably or who had to leave and they have an opening. But I believe jobs are more available after the new year because companies have their numbers in, their budgets in. Well, they know what budget they're working with for the year, and they know whether or not they can hire people. Would having a roommate help you save tons of money? And whether you're on a budget and you're trying to save money to get your own place, that could help out a lot, or it can just help you make the transition to whatever it is you might be pursuing, whether it's a new career or moving to a new place altogether and figuring it out, or continuing the career that maybe you left or changed from at home. I just think having more money as a resource will allow you more flexibility in where you move and just being able to choose exactly what is right for you or make changes without it being a huge financial burden, because moving is expensive and the more money you can save, the better. I hope this video was very helpful in your decision to make a move wherever you decide to go. Have a blast. Keep me posted. Please share any other questions that you might have below, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.